So one of the first things to do if you really want to increase your chances of getting admission in Europe or to study abroad is that you have to first of all do an extensive research about the country you want to travel to study, about the course you want to study, about the process, the admission process, and this will guide you and help you to understand how you can obviously make your application better to increase your chances of getting admission in that particular university, and then how to get yourself in that country. Because I see some people who share this kind of frustration that they were not able to secure an admission, for example, at the University of Luxembourg or in the Czech Republic, in Czechia. And some of the reasons that things that are preventable, that if they had a prior understanding about the process, perhaps they could have gotten admission, or at least they could have got more chances to get admitted. So what I'm going to do now, this morning, this beautiful morning in the city of Vienna, I'm in Vienna, Austria. What I want to do now is to share with you guys some tips. I kind of share with you some of the admission challenges and some of the admission challenges, visa challenges that you might encounter, so that you think ahead of time and prepare yourself for these possible challenges. Then you will be able to have the right strategy to overcome or surmount these challenges. Because right now admission is around the corner. I know in the Czech Republic, some of the universities and some of the faculties, for example, at the Czech University of Life Sciences, Prague, some faculties have already started their own admission process, while some will start in November. But I'm sure by end of November, December, most of the faculties should have started the admission process. And for the University of Luxembourg, apparently the admission process is usually from February to April for non-EU nationals every year. So I expect that next year will not be different. So if you are interested in studying at the University of Luxembourg, you have to start preparing for that now, because admission process will obviously commence in February 2025 until April 2025 for non-EU nationals. So don't wait until the last minute to make your own application. This is the right time for you to start assembling, getting all your documents ready. So I want to talk about some of the admission challenges or traveling challenges with respect to Luxembourg and Czechia. It's the Czech Republic. So I'm going to start with Luxembourg. Now, first of all, the University of Luxembourg is the only public university in Luxembourg. But before I continue, I have to make this disclaimer that I am not a visa agent. I am not a travel agent. I'm not an admission agent to anybody, to any institution. So this video, what I say in this video is my own personal opinion, which is built on my personal experience and my extensive research on this particular issue. So this channel is solely owned by me, and I do my videos independently based on somebody who is in the system with my knowledge and my research. So if you want to make inquiries about visa processes, please contact the appropriate authorities or the embassies within where you are. And you can also write the relevant universities if you want to make further inquiries. But I'm sure that if you pay attention to my videos, you will have one or two things to learn that will help you to make an informed decision next time. So back to Luxembourg. The University of Luxembourg is the only public university in Luxembourg. So it's publicly funded by the government and one of the top rising young university in Europe and one of the best universities in terms of research across Europe, if not globally. And Luxembourg is a beautiful country, small in terms of size and population, but mighty in terms of economy, prospect, and opportunities. A lot of startups out there, financial institution, ICT world, name it. It's a nice destination. So obviously, getting admission at University of Luxembourg is very competitive. But that does not mean that it is impossible for you to get in there. When I was trying to apply for my admission 2016 for my second master's at University of Luxembourg, that year my course, which is integrated system biology, they only wanted to admit 16 persons for that year. 16 persons. What do? I started almost like 8 months before the actual time admission was supposed to open to get myself ready. I read thoroughly the admission process, generally speaking, and then course-specific requirement for my course. I took my time to find out how to squeeze in myself among those 16 persons that my department wanted for that year. And I said, if I could do a good job and take my time to prepare effectively, I have a better chance of being among those 16 applicants that will be admitted for that year. So I started on time I wrote to the course director. At that time, he replied me, so I got some insight about what to do. I packaged myself properly, prepare my documents on time, all my own work experience, wherever I got to increase my chances, I did those things. And I was ready to make my application on time. This helped me to have some leverage over other applicants. So before the admission even started, I've already gotten everything I needed for my application. And once the portal opens, boom, I made my application. And the rest is history. I got admitted in a highly competitive university. So you gotta start on time, get the right documentation, write your motivation letter effectively and robustly. I have made a video about that. And make sure you check everything. Make sure you cross every T and dot every I's. It's not something you just do knee-jerk reaction. You just woke up one morning, you make an application without a thorough research, a thorough reading about the process. Go to the university website and first of all read the general admission guidelines and criteria for every course. Then go to the particular specific course you want to apply and make sure you read course specific requirements. The University of Luxembourg is very particular about your formal degree relationship, how it's related to the masters you want to apply for example. So make sure you choose the right course. Don't waste your time choosing unrelated program to your first degree. If you're applying at the University of Luxembourg, this is very key. Write a robust motivational statement. Make sure it is intact, it's watertight, in a very good logical sense, and put everything that you got, your work experience related to the program, your research skills, whatever you think will make your chances better, do that. That's number one. And apply on time. For the fact that admission runs from February to April doesn't mean they're gonna wait for you till April to apply, because every department has a number of people they want to accept. My assumption, and this is my opinion, is that once that number is filled up, they can do magic. So the earlier you start the process, the better for you. Now, secondly, if you want to apply for bachelor's degree program at the University of Luxembourg, there is something you have to pay attention to. A lot of people do make this mistake. They jump into application without understanding that the process for bachelor's degree program is quite different from the process for master's and PhD. Now, if you want to apply for a bachelor's degree program at the University of Luxembourg, there is something that you must do fundamentally. This is a mandatory requirement for you to even make your own online application. Without doing that, your application will not be processed. It's a futile effort. It's a waste of time, waste of your resources, waste of your money for admission, for application fees. Now, if you are applying for a bachelor's degree program at the University of Luxembourg, and in Luxembourg for that matter, you must first of all apply for the recognition of your high school certificate. That means your secondary school certificate. If you are from West Africa like Nigeria or Ghana, that means your WAEC. That's your WAEC certificate. You must apply for the recognition of that with the Luxembourg Ministry of Education. This is a mandatory requirement for you to even make an online application for bachelor's degree programs. If you don't do that, your application will not be processed. Some people have jumped into applying and they end up telling them you have an incomplete application because you failed to read basic, simple guidelines, outlines on how to make application at the university. If you have spent some hours to read that, then you'll be able to know if you are ready or not based on what is required. Then if you're not ready, if you don't have those documents, then don't waste your time. Now, when you're making that recognition application, there is something fundamental that you have to pay attention to. If you are applying for the recognition of your high school certificate, which is a condition for you to apply for bachelor's degree program at the University of Luxembourg, and in Luxembourg, you have to also provide evidence of either French, German, or Luxembourgish language proficiency. I'm gonna tell that again. When you want to apply for the recognition of your high school certificate, which is a precondition for you to make your application for bachelor's degree programs at the University of Luxembourg, you have to provide as part of your documentation evidence of French or German or Luxembourgish language proficiency, regardless of whether the course you're applying for is taught in English or French or German or Luxembourgish or not, is inconsequential. Regardless of the language of the program you want to study, you have to provide evidence of either French, German, or Luxembourgish language proficiency as part of your document for applying for the recognition of your high school certificate. If you obtain your high school outside Luxembourg or the European Union, that is to say, if you studied in Nigeria or Ghana or Kenya, wherever, any of the third world countries, you have to do this if you're applying for bachelor's degree programs. If you have no certificate of French or German or Luxembourgish language proficiency, then your recognition for high school with the Ministry of Education in Luxembourg will not be processed or accepted. So if you're applying for bachelor's University of Luxembourg, it's a bit complicated. Make sure you have this requirement. If you don't have that, then choose another country where you know that will not be a problem. For example, you can choose to apply for bachelor's in Czech Republic and other countries across Europe. So this is why it's very, very critical for you to know these fundamental guidelines and requirements before you even start your application process. Now, the second challenge that you might face if you want to go to Luxembourg to study is that you have to think about the proof of fund, right? Based on my research, as of this year, you need to have about 17,317 euros in your account as a proof of fund. That might change next year. Usually every year it changes a little bit, and it is better you have that money in your own account. Even though your parents can sponsor you, but if you want to use your parents' account, you have to also show evidence that they send money to you every month. I don't have the exact figure about the amount you're supposed to prove that they send to you monthly, but you have to show that your parents send you money every month prior to the account they're gonna give to you. So my advice, my suggestion, my own opinion is that use your own account if you can to have a proof of fund. Remember, if you're using the local currency like Naira, foreign exchange is very unstable and fragile with Naira to dollar, Naira to euro. Then make sure you have more than the minimum requirement in Naira so that when you submit your application and the foreign exchange fluctuates, it will not affect the final balance that the caseworker will see when he or she wants to process your application. So if you don't have foreign currency like euro, you can use Naira, but make sure you have just more than enough to make room for any fluctuation in foreign exchange. But ideally, if you can, have it in euro or foreign currency. Okay, so that's another challenge. Proof of fund is high in Luxembourg, so you have to prepare on time to make sure you have the exact amount or at least more than what is required in your account. So these are the things that you have to consider. Admission process in University of Luxembourg is challenging, but it's not impossible. It's not impossible if you start on time, if you write a good motivation letter, if you choose the right course, and if you make your application on time. And for bachelor's degree programs, remember, you have to first of all apply for the recognition of your high school certificate. And part of the condition for that is evidence of either French, German, or Luxembourgish language proficiency. Okay, that's for Luxembourg. Let's go to Czech Republic now. For Czech Republic, you also need to apply for the recognition of your foreign diploma, foreign degree, but you don't need to provide evidence of Czech language or French language, just basic normal process, which can take longer time, but the university will show you some guidelines. For example, Czech University of Life Sciences, in their website, you see the guidelines how to apply for the recognition of either your high school certificate or your bachelor's or your master's. It is called nostrification. All right. So the steps are there. So follow that guideline if you're applying to come to Czech Republic, a lovely country, and Prague is beautiful, one of the tourist destinations across Europe. So for Czech Republic, you still need to apply for the recognition of your foreign diploma, foreign certificate, but you don't need to provide French or Czech language as part of the evidence. So that aside, but the process can be lengthy, although you can also apply for what is called there are different ways you can do that at the Czech University of Life Sciences, that temporarily you can apply for them to, this university will recognize your diploma by themselves, then you can come to study, but then before you graduate, you have to do the normal official nostrification, all right, which takes longer time. But then you don't need to provide evidence of French or Czech, whatever. So that's for Czech Republic. That's for the Czech University of Life Sciences. The place you're gonna have some challenges if you are coming to study in the Czech Republic is when it comes to getting an appointment at the Czech Embassy, especially if you're applying from Nigeria, West Africa, like Ghana. I'm gonna use Nigeria as a case study. Usually they have monthly quota. There is number of applicants they're going to interview for visa at the Czech Embassy in Abuja. Again, I am not speaking for the embassy. I am not agent of any institution. This is just based on my research and people's experience and opinion and what they pass through, and my own research and also experience. So I'm trying to let you know that if you're applying for if you want to get visa appointment at the Czech Embassy, Abuja, Nigeria, and some part of other African countries, it might take some time because they have monthly number of applicants that they want to interview for visa. I'm focusing on study visa now. So let's say, for example, they might have 15 or 10 or 12, I don't know the numbers now, but usually not a big number. So, and it's only once a month that they will provide the platform for you to send email to a particular email with your details. And then most times you might not, sometimes some few people will get opportunity. Imagine if they have just 10 slots and there are 200 people sending emails at the exact time. So you have to time it properly and you have to start on time. So this is one of the challenges you might face in terms of getting your visa to study in the Czech Republic. So how do you deal with that? You have to apply for admission on time. That's how to be proactive. So now at the Czech University of Life Sciences, some faculties have already started admission process already right now as I speak, as I make this video. Many will start in November, which is just around the corner, a couple of days. Many will start in December. So you already know that getting an appointment might be challenging from Nigeria, from some West African countries. So how do you beat that? You have to start to get admission on time, so that if you get admission, for example, in December or January, you already have your admission already, and you finish all the whole recognition process. Then you have February, March, April, May, possibly June, 5 months to try your luck with appointment. Maybe you try in January, it didn't work out, they didn't pick you. You try in February, they didn't pick you. By March, they might pick you. But if you do not apply for admission on time, maybe you waited so long and apply for admission around, maybe you got admission around April or May, it's already almost late, then school starts in September. So you have less time to even try to get an appointment for your visa. Before you know it, September, school started, no appointment. So start on time. That's the way to beat that. Get admission on time and then begin to apply for appointment every month. You never know, you might be lucky. If you don't try, you don't know. So that's for Czech Republic. That's where a lot of people do have challenges securing an appointment. Also, for admission in Czech Republic, it's not that too complicated. It's not that too difficult, to be honest. If you start on time, choose the right course. I know Czech University of Life Sciences is very good. The tuition fees are very cheap. Some courses, I think some bachelor's degree program at the Czech University of Life Sciences will cost you probably about less than 400 euros for the whole year. Yeah, and some masters cost about 300 something euros for the whole year. Imagine yearly paying 350 euros for a year for a master's program or bachelor's degree program. And for PhD, they even pay you some stipends every month. About, I don't know, I think it's about, in the first year, about 12,000 Czech crown every month. And the tuition fees for PhD is still very, very cheap. So start on time. If you want to come to Czech Republic, start now, start now, start now. Go and check out the Czech University of Life Sciences Prague. And then you can also check out the university like Charles University in the Czech Republic, Masaryk University, Czech Technical University, all of them. Check that out and start on time. So yeah, in terms of visa appointment, it can be challenging from Africa, from Nigeria, but how do you solve that? Start on time. So you have a lot of months to try your luck. If you don't try, you don't know. The worst thing in life is not to try. Don't give up. Don't run away because there are challenges, there are disappointments. Don't dwell in your disappointment. You have to find out what are the obstacles in front of my goal, in front of my destiny. What are those obstacles? And then confront them head on. Find a strategy, a way to clear those obstacles out of your way and pursue your goals, because you cannot give up. Ignore the noise, ignore the distractions and focus on your goals. And that involves you doing your own research, having the right information, being empowered by the right information, and then start decisively. Being decisive, start on time, and be consistent with your goals. So if you can deal with these issues, in terms of proof of fund for Czech Republic, it's not as high as in Luxembourg. To be honest, it's pretty much modest. You don't need to have a lot of millions like you have in Luxembourg as a proof of fund. It's reasonably decent amount, which if you're really serious, if you're committed, you can be able to deal with that. But again, the place I think people complain a lot is about appointment slot. So appointment opportunities, appointment at the Czech embassies in various countries in West Africa, for example, in Nigeria. So start on time to have more time to play around to get appointment at the embassy. For Luxembourg, if you're applying for masters, you don't need to recognize your degree first. Once you get admitted, you now have to register your first degree certificate with Ministry of Education, book of register, and this process that is not that very cumbersome. But for bachelor's degree program for the University of Luxembourg, you first of all have to apply for the recognition of your high school certificate and then provide evidence of language proficiency, including either either French or German or Luxembourgish for Luxembourg. So I hope this will help you to understand some of these challenges and then for you to get ready to deal with them head on. Because I believe if you work hard, you achieve your goals in life. So this is what I have for you. Remember, you have the power to bend reality and create your own future. If you believe you can, you can. You can do it if you believe. You have the power to bend reality and create your own future. Start now. No excuse for failure. Everything is in you. Surrender to who you are, the power within, and pursue your goals. Be stubborn with your goals. Because if you believe you can, then you can. I am the Human Investor. Thank you, and God bless you real good.